Does everybody have a packet for tonight? Tonight, the handouts, okay? We're gonna get started. We're gonna go in order a little bit. Tim, where are you? You're back there. The group had asked for a little bit more of an update on technology in the district. And so I've got Tim Harder, our technology director, here, and he's gonna speak a little bit on technology, where we are and where we're going with it.
Hey Dave, can I ask a question? We
Sure.
had a question last time and they said we get to it first this time.
Okay.
So just looking for the facts on this tank. Could you draw that?
The tank.
Where you said somebody said it was a water tank and then that was next and you said no, it's not a water tank, and then somebody else said in the video it was a water tank, and then it was put in the paperwork that it was a water tank.
It's corrected this evening. We'll be handing that out to you shortly.
Right. But I would like a picture. Can you just draw? Because in my girl brain, when you say water tank, that's what I think, and I think a lot of people. I've talked to quite a few people because it was even in some of the other videos.
Okay.
That people were
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I know we had a mistake in one of the meeting summary from 2 meetings ago, and we've
Right.
provided a corrected version of that this evening for you.
So the last meeting where you weren't at it either, it was that other
Correct.
guy.
Mike was here, yep.
Mike, yeah, so
Yep.
he said at the start of this meeting that we could draw that.
We actually have it's a fact sheet that should be in your packet that covers the IT room versus the mechanical room above.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
It does have
okay.
Is that
I
what
know.
you're referring to?
I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got a whole exhibit we'll share with you on that as soon as IT director's got another commitment. We want to keep him on track.
Yeah, we'll
for
let
tonight.
him
But
go, and then I'll
we're
get
definitely going to
to your
address that
question.
tonight, Judy.
It's all yours.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate having a chance to come in. I'm Tim Harder, the Director of Technology here for the district. So David asked me some follow-up questions to kind of give you a little bit about where districts and where schools are going with technology. And so I appreciate the opportunity going first tonight because I have to go to class after this. So I have an online class that I have to jump into. So this is something we started. We have a 5-year rolling technology plan that was board adopted in the spring of 2016. And when we talk about what technology means for the learning environment here in the West Bend School District, this is our vision when you talk about the fact that it is a learning tool and a teaching tool. And it aids in the learning for our students, and that's pre-K through 12. And our students as they use technology across the board. And it helps us in the way that we interact, research, collaborate, and learn and produce that evidence of learning for our students. And it provides voice and choice. And part of the great work that the team of people that I get to lead work on is we have some beliefs that we need to do behind the scenes to make this happen. Every single day we have approximately 7,000 students that come here to use our facilities and our technology and so forth. And to be able to do that, we need to provide a robust and fast network. We have about 8,500 user accounts in the district. So that means that's how many people we manage, that's how many people can theoretically be online and so forth on a daily basis. And so we move a lot of data, and some of that is operational and some of that is learning data. And there is probably not a department in the entire district that we do not support some sort of system, either through providing access to or some kind of a server here in the district or something like that. Over the last couple of years, we know that the world is going to a wireless network. And you'll see in my next slide as we talk about, as we move to a wireless network, some of the things that causes us to look at across the board. And no longer are we carrying just one wireless device with us. Okay? Used to be the joke, the IT guy had like 3 or 4 devices. Now everybody's got a phone in their pocket that connects, and they bring a laptop or a tablet. We need to have highly available network and resources. As much as we joke the kids leave at the end of the day at 4 o'clock, till about 11:30 at night, our systems are constantly being accessed here. Skyward is our biggest system, which is our student information system. We house that here in the district. That is parents getting information, that is the state getting information, that is students accessing grades, that is teachers and operational staff. We have other systems that we utilize basically 24/7 around the clock. And so we joke like, when's a good time to take systems down nowadays? The last Skyward big upgrade that we did, where we had to be down for a good period of time, overnight. I even got an email from somebody who was up when I was up at that point in time, so I thought that was interesting, who was trying to access that. So our resources become a little bit more of a 24/7 model in the digital learning environment. We continue to adopt digital learning materials as they're becoming available online. We have a learning management system for our students. That's kind of their starting point. It's their digital backpack. We're a Google Apps for Education school, so our students are online creating, taking notes, and collaborating with their classmates. And we continue to utilize cloud storage and service when appropriate. And so that's where we're taking things off-site that we normally would have on-site. And there's pluses and minuses to that, both in the cost realm and the security realm and some other operational control pieces that we have. So that's kind of our vision of where we're going as a district. To do that, over the last 4 years that I've been in my role, and especially the last 2 years, what have we done to do this? So number one, we virtualize a lot of our servers. We are down to about 8 servers in the district that are not virtualized. 6 of them are our camera system DVRs at that point. And the benefit of having everything virtualized is we're moving those servers around, and they're in an environment where if we lose one physical box or computer, we can shift it to something else, and it's highly available at that point in time. We don't have downtime on our network. We continue to move to more mobile devices requiring less wiring needs. You know, it used to be very common to walk into schools and see computer lab, computer lab, computer lab. And each one of those computer labs then has, if there's 30 computers, there's 30 wires running through the wall back to something else, connected to another piece of equipment, connected to another piece of equipment. When you look at the tradition, or the trend that we're going on, if you were to go over to Silverbrook, which is our most recent remodel, there is one computer lab in the entire room and in the entire building, and it is not wired. It is a wireless environment. We do have some wires in there for the sense of being able to add on and do some things, but we are moving to a wireless platform. We plan for additional mobile devices. Every day we see between 4,000 and 4,500 wireless devices in our network between the hours of 8 and 2:30 in the afternoon. And we are a bring your own device district, so kids can bring their own devices in here. Staff can also utilize their own devices on our network and so forth. So we see an increase daily in the number of wireless devices. As we've moved through this realm, with the reduction of wired desktop computers and computer in labs in school, we bring back space. So at the elementary level, we have been working to take them out. And every single elementary room would have 2 or 3 desktops in the corner. Well, by being able to take those 2 and 3 desktops out, we're taking a table like this out of the classroom, or opening it up at that point where this can be another learning environment for those teachers at that point, and for those students. With that, we know that we have a reduction in need for the wires. So when you look at, anything, when you talk about the high school, roughly talking with Dave today, we figure as looking at the wiring needs that we need to do up there, if we were to replace what we currently have, we'd be able to actually reduce by almost 50% the number of wires we'd actually have to run through the wall. Because most of our rooms, when these buildings were built, or when they were wired in the early 90s at that point, for internet connection, we were bringing into a room this size, a regular classroom, anywhere from 10 to 12 network connections. Now we're down to 5 or 6 per classroom at that point. Development of highly available multiple connection networks. For us, our phones are a great example of this. Our phones run through our network here. If we lose one piece of equipment in the wrong spot, I can lose a quarter of the high school building at that point that has 0 phone access. And that's an emergency piece, that's calling 911 and so forth. So we are continue to plan and build out multiple connection points, and it's no different than saying road construction says I can't go here, I'm going the other way at that point. So making sure that we have multiple connections between our different technical closets at the high school, so that we have that high availability piece. We continue to work on security of district networking equipment. This also includes physical security of our equipment, bringing in different things from camera systems into our data closets so we know that's there. Snapshots and automatically, outside of certain hours where we get notified and so forth. And then we do a lot of monitoring of our equipment, so we know. Between Dave and I, we always joke about who gets the call first when the power goes out or something happens, because we each have our own systems. Those include security, they include power. Temperature is a big piece for us, especially in our main data closet at the high school. It's not always about the wear and tear on the equipment itself, it has to do with the hard drives and the storage that's in there. And the fact that if that gets to a certain temperature, we can actually start to see hard drive failure at that point, which that is where all of our data systems are stored. Obviously moisture, and then equipment failure. If we lose one phone controller, we have to be able to flip over automatically to another phone controller so we have phone access in our buildings at that point. So these are things that we have been shifting to over the last 4 years in the district in terms of infrastructure and devices. When you talk about infrastructure needs, when you look at the high school in Jackson, when we talk about both buildings, wiring. Since these buildings were wired in the early 90s, the model or the category of the wires that we're using have shifted, and they allow for more speed to be run through those wires. And so we're at the point right now where we're not limited by the access point, and I'm pointing at the one here in the room. We're not limited by the access point, it's the wires that's connecting that back to our network in terms of the speeds that we can run through there.